Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Yoruus speaking and welcome to summary video for multiplayer game number 116. As usual, spoiler alert, if you do not want to know how the game went, stop watching right now and go to the first position of the playlist where the actual game starts. Alright, you have been warned. So if you do want to know how the game went, so you can decide if you want to watch the game or not, or you already watched the game and want to just hear me theorycraft a little bit, I invite you to watch this video. So this game was played on Twitch on 17th March, and I've got in this game the Weatherman playing as Cottage, Ranma playing as Netherlands, Tank playing as Ethiopia, RN Jesus playing as Shoshone, and Kifuro playing as Rome, and Rai rolled Songhai. This time, though the rules are like standard those days, but this time it was random civs, so quite cool. The funny part though is like on Twitch, this is like the second game of the evening, and in the first game it was actually scrubbed because Tank lost his settler on turn 2, but now on my Twitch channel we have a new command about Tank, so next stream I invite you to use the Tank command because it's awesome. Alright, so I got Songhai, and this is basically the land I've started with, and I gotta admit this is like horrible horrible decision making. First of all, yes, I'm on a coast and you see a lot of fish resources, right? And fish resources are quite cool thanks to the lighthouse, because you just get a lighthouse and a fish is 4 food, 1 hammer, which is just super amazing. So 1 lighthouse fixes 3 very good tiles like instantly, which is great. That's a plus. Now, I do see wheat in the third ring, I do see truffles, whales, and there is marble in here, and there's also desert in here. So I was like thinking, like go a little bit to the right side and try to get marble in the capital. Okay, but I skipped the chance of getting a Petra. Well, so from those perspective, I'll like try to go for the desert hill and try to be on a hill with the desert, but step away from the wheat. Don't like it. Overall, I decided to plant in spot. My warrior did move in here, and I believe we're gonna see tons of desert in here. So it's not the great, right? It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles and a little bit of ocean tiles that never is going to be worked, right? Most probably without Petra, those tiles are like possibly useless, and there's oil in there somewhere. And plain style is gonna like kick in at fertilizer. So this is not really that super awesome capital. It's not bad, but it's not super awesome. But I decided to stay in spot and plant in here in hopes that I can fit in another coastal city somewhere around this marble, so I can feed my capital with a cargo ship. That was like my initial plan. Step in here and well, actually there was like 2 initial plans. First initial plan was actually like try to get a Great Light maybe and a Petra Rush, just to make those tiles viable, because there's quite a lot of theoretically early food with a lighthouse. I could try to do that, Great Light into a Petra, and then another city to get the marble spot. But some things definitely ain't gonna work as you planned. This is a quite cool overview of how things are definitely changing quite quickly when you scout the land. Basically, like on turn 2, I found Uluru because my warrior went here. He's upgraded to Spearman right now, and I found Uluru. And I was like, I did put away a couple of scouts in here, and I did find iron. There's like 2. Iron is cool. I've got iron next to my capital and on plains, and 2 horses on plains, so not bad usage of the plains. Not bad overall. But I do see Uluru, and my first thought was, and first stream thought was like, go right to Uluru. But couple of things happened around this place where I actually decided that going with my first settler to Uluru is quite counterproductive. The first reason is Tank, playing as Ethiopia, got his first Pantheon, and he took one with nature, right? So there's +4 fate from natural wonders, and also he did settle a natural wonder, not on turn 17, but like a couple of turns later he settles on natural wonder, so that's +10 fate. And I'm like thinking, uh-oh, there's basically no point rushing Uluru because I'm gonna lose the first religion anyways. There's no chance for that, to get the first religion, so kind of rushing Uluru is counterproductive. But, well, counterproductive, maybe not counterproductive, but the point is there's Shoshone quite close in here. Well, maybe not super close, but he's like on a desert, totally desert in his capital, and I would love to take away this spot. Now you're probably asking, but why? Like, Uluru is so awesome. Yes, it's awesome, but at the same point there is a city-state in here that I've just discovered, and it blocks away my settling spot on the coast. So like my initial plan, get the marble with a second coastal city, is gone. I can't do that because there's a city-state. On the other side, I don't see any luxuries, so there's like no hopes for cargo ships early on. So I kind of need to gain some grounds to establish my first 4 cities. So my initial plan was like grabbing a spot in here, a defensive spot on the mountain, to get all those tiles in here and get the marble, and also block off spots, maybe not block off spots, but basically deny Shoshone taking my spots, at least in my like first ring of the city, which also is like maybe not that great plan after you look at it from a time perspective, but it's a decent, reasonable plan. So I kind of decided to go with my first settler here. The second settler goes on this hill next to Uluru, and my fourth settler, I wanted to plant like somewhere around this river system and get truffles in here. The map is quite crowded on my side. There's Shoshone in here, Tank's capital is right next to Shoshone capital, and Mr. Furo with Rome is somewhere around in here. So quite a crowded corner of the map, I would say. Well, I need to show this for a note. I failed horribly with my fourth plant. I failed tremendously horrible. I actually did use radar, but I failed on using radar and I missed one barb somewhere. So I lost the fourth settler. Yes, I lost the fourth settler to barbarians. Now, I had like 2 choices, right? Choice number 1, get the settler quickly and try to plant that, but that will like be like 5 turns or 6 turns of building a settler plus around like 5 turns of moving to the spot. That's 12 turns. 12 or even more turns to actually get the city planted. So I decided after all that I will skip the 4th city and I will not try to correct my mistake. By the way, you can see the wonder from Tank in here. So I will skip the 4th settler and I'm just gonna stay on 3 cities until I'm gonna make National College. That was my like work around the mistake I just made. Of course, Tank didn't plant the first religion on like turn 20 something, as I predicted. I did get a Pantheon from Iron, so I had a hefty amount of pagodas. So the idea about the religion is like, I'm not gonna get religion. There's just no way. Tank has such a quick religion. He later on like upgraded it instantly to faster spread. He got pagodas tied. Fate from Natural Wonders, and I actually do not remember what was his second follower belief, and faster spreading, of course. So there was like no physical way to fight Tang's religion, so I decided, yes, I get a Natural Fate Wonder, maybe a decent Pantheon, but I thought like, no, I'm not gonna fight Tang's religion, there's no point in doing so. I will just use his religion, buy pagodas, and yes, it's gonna give him gold, which would be troublesome in the late game, but at the same time, it's kind of clear deal. Tang needs to die before he can buy planes. Simple deal with that, but at the same time, I will just have to time it right, use his religion, and try to ally somebody to actually kill Tang before that. Now, there is a funny part that of course happened around this place, and I'm gonna just show you that. And that part is like, I mentioned the initial plan about Petra, right? But after seeing Shoshone's capital, I knew that it's not gonna happen, especially I wanted to claim the land. So he did go for Hanging Gardens, Petra in his capital. Now, what's fun about that? Well, there's not too much stuff fun about that, but the point is like, Tang, he didn't really have too much army. I was gifted, I was quite lucky with the quest from City State, so I was gifted like spearmen. I had I think around 5 or so, and I was first in army. Now, Tang was not obviously first at army, which means he didn't really have too much melee units, probably like tons of chariots or so. And he, like, as soon as RNGesus finished Petra, oh, excuse me, finished Petra, Tang shows up on his doorstep at the capital, and like, boom, GG RNGesus. I'm like, that was so fast, like 2 turns, he's dead. He had literally no army whatsoever. And Tang just got a super nice Hanging Gardens Petra capital for free. That's problems, right? That's huge problems. That's huge problems. So you're probably wondering, how do I react? Well, actually, I did try to get for a Great Wall to help me out with war against Tang, but I lost it. I lost it terribly on the same turn to the Weatherman, who's doing quite great. I gotta say, he was doing quite great. Nice demos, nice food, nice hammers, and seems like some sort of a deal with Ranma, that they like border each other quite close, but they were never like aggressive throughout the whole course of the game. But I know that my first priority is Tang. I need to deal with Tang to actually have any choice, any shot at winning this game. I need to deal with Tang. Theoretically, Furo is in the same situation. He's north of me. There's quite a lot of space in between us, and he borders Tang quite closely. And they were in some sort of a like war for a long time. For a very long time, and they made peace like, I don't know around which turn, for a moment there with the deals. And Tang was trying to make a deal at some point. Well, I'm just gonna say it right now because I don't want to like forget about this. At some point he makes a deal like, let's make peace, and we do not have war until turn 145. And I'm like, what? Turn 145? That's the craziest idea ever. Why would I want to make a deal to make peace with Tang so he can peacefully, like, he get tons of cities. He took almost all the cities from Shoshone. He planted some more cities, so he was, I believe, at around 8 cities or so. Why would I want to make peace with Tang, who has religion all over the world, a lot of cities? So in essence, basically at turn 145, his economy is gonna be like built up, and he's just gonna buy like planes instantly. And I don't want that to happen. Now Furo learned his lesson well, and he didn't want that to happen as well. But we gonna get back to that in a minute. I'm gonna show you the other problem. Tank was like the problem number one, but I also had a second problem in this game, which I'm gonna show you right now. This is the second problem. This is my second problem, and the problem is called Carthage and Netherlands. I don't have inland sea. There is a passage at the start. Because I did not have any ships, I thought that this is actually one tile passage, so I planted my city in here not only for a cargo ship. It doesn't have any extra luxuries, right? But I did want to have a cargo ship to my capital, and of course to Tekaz as well. But I also did want to have a city that will be well defendable. Like, from seeing this net, I was thinking like, there's only this passage, right? So 2 tiles. If I can put ships around this place, there's going to be only 2 tiles that frigate's going to be able to attack me. I don't want to go frigates myself. I seriously do not want to go frigates myself. I don't intend to fight on the other side of the world, because I've got my big primary problem, tank, like close to me. And that's the problem I need to fix first before I will start worrying about any other players in this game. So first tank, then Furo, and then others, basically. Shoshone is already out of the game. So I don't want to go to frigates. I don't want to invest any army into frigates. No. So I planted this defensively in hopes that I can like get a couple of galleys and that will throw any attacks at me. And as usual in this game actually I had to adjust so many times, really many times, changing plans over and over, from plan A to plan B to plan C to plan D to plan A to plan F. So I'm gonna show you how this plan worked out. Exactly like this. So turn 124 or 123, Carthage decides to, like, he's got tons of hammers, don't get me wrong, he's got tons of hammers, but instead of, well, there's a couple of things happening at around this stage of the game. First of all, as I said, I did not focus on too much army whatsoever. I did get some units from city-states. I did build up crossbows, because somebody was, of course, at some point like saying, oh, who's got navigation? Of course, I did not have navigation. I checked Carthage. Yes, iron is used, so I know what's cooking. But I don't really want to go navigation. I really don't want to get frigates. I tried to build up a couple of galleasses. I went for industrialization, and like at this stage of the game, I have industrialization, and I want to build them factories to get ideology. But no, like tank, no problem. He's got factories. He's got autocracy already. So I know what's cooking. Furo knows what's cooking. Tank knows what's cooking. As you can see, he's sitting on 6 cities right now. But his religion is like all over the world almost, so he's like having tons of gold. Everybody knows what he's gonna do. He's just gonna get 2 planes, buy planes, and kill everybody around. But Carthage goes from all the other side of the map with frigates in here. Thankfully, I did prepare my defenses well, but it's a problem. It's a huge problem for me. I am able to defend. I obviously had to get frigates. I had to use the gold to actually buy a couple of galleasses, upgrade frigates, and so on. I did survive. I did defend. My dream defense city is actually not the dream of a defense city, because there's another passage through the ice. Nevertheless, it's a pretty good defensive city spot, which I managed to defend quite well. I think so. Well, I did survive. But it slowed me down quite a bit, because I was not able to get factories. My public schools were slowed down and so on. I was not really able to actually start building up troops against Mr. Tank. Now Furo went like all in, well, I don't know if all in, but he went for artillery definitely, and I supported him with gold. and we kind of decided that we're gonna divide Tank's empire. He's gonna get his Tank's capital, I'm gonna get Shoshon's capital. But because of Carthage showing up on my borders from the sea, I was not really able to support Furo. I only could give him money, and it was actually GPT, gold per turn, so I gave him around 30 gold per turn or so. So that's around 900 G, right? 900 G, I believe. And that's it. My army was useless. No army. I had to deal with frigates. So I dealt with those frigates. I tried to like chase away that fleet because he like backed up. He attacked the city-state. I tried to get help that city-state, but I really couldn't. So I had to back up in the defensive positions. I really didn't want to get frigates. I had no interest still in attacking the other side of the world. And like Ranma was also like keeping troops around my borders. Like, if I would be the greatest threat in the game, I'm like, come on, Weatherman and Ranma, no, Tank is like the biggest problem in here. We need to deal with Tank first, and then we can like fight our smaller wars or so. And I did understand that, Furo did understand that, Ranma sort of remained neutral at best, and Carthage, for unknown reasons, swam all around from the other side of the galaxy to kill me instead of like fighting Ranma right next to him. Like, why would you not kill Ranma if she's like next to you and you go all the way to me to try to do what? Most probably you won't be even able to keep those cities if you even take them, because like there's Furo and Tank to take those cities away. So I don't know. But he did get in here and caused me a lot of troubles. And there's even like one more part in here that was like, I was like, oh, what? Seriously? Like look at this. I was like, what? Carthage Berserkers. I was like, what? Not only he had a city-state like forever, because like how Carthage could get Berserkers, but all those Berserkers went from the other side of the galaxy just to me to be like pesky. They can't really like take anything. They can't take a city. They cannot destroy anything. They just got in here and be pesky around in here. And Furo thankfully had quite a lot of success at war. He went artilleries. He built up very, very well. He used the gold well. He said after the game that he was actually supported by Carthage and Ranma as well, but mostly by my gold. But anyways, Tank made a mistake. He underestimated Furo, so he was like not build up the troops he needed to defend, and he was slowly pushed away and he was losing ground. So he lost 2 cities quite quickly, and Furo was quite nicely attacking his capital. Now I was going for artillery myself because I wanted the piece of Tank, and I was really trying to help Furo with the war against Tank. But I couldn't. I'm like, there were still factories to build, public schools to build, berserkers to kill, frigates all the time threatening to get in here and kill me. So I was really putting a lot of effort into just dealing with all of that stuff that I needed to do. But eventually I did show up at Shoshon's capital. Finally, after a lot of trouble, I did show up at Shoshoni's capital. Now, I did take it. As you can see, Addis Ababa did not fall that long ago. So tank problem is neutralized, basically. Tank problem is neutralized, and now what do I do next? Furo, in my head, I had a thought like, if Furo really invested a lot into going straight for artilleries, and he did not build up factories, no ideology, and no public schools, like all in artillery, I have to, even if I was slowed down by frigate attack and like those berserkers problems and all that stuff, I definitely have to be ahead of him at science. I've got oil, and well, I don't have oil just yet in here, but I'm gonna get Prora, and I'm gonna get oil. And I was like thinking, okay, if I'm a little bit ahead, let's forget about super late game. let's deal with Furo right now. And the best way to do it, actually, if I do have the tech advantage, is actually trying to buy off planes. Now, I am Autocracy 1, actually Autocracy 3 after Prora, and I got Commerce buying stuff. I don't have Big Ben because them tanks snatched it again on one turn with a great engineer. I was trying to get Big Ben, but I did not get it. Same turn, so I lost 2 wonders on same turn. One with a great engineer was even a... well, that's just unspeakable how bad that is. But anyway, so Autocracy I do have Commerce. Let's try to kill Furo with planes. So I did get upper hand on Mr. Furo, and I was ahead in that science as predicted, just enough to actually get the troops I needed. So I had advantage of around 8 planes. He should be having planes like in 2 turns or so. But I will have already like 8 planes with triple promotions. As I said, Autocracy, military academies built in. I had a hefty gold amount. So I don't think Furo could fight maybe later on around his capital if he got enough troops, but I would kill him eventually, well, probably quite quickly even. Ari's a double mine, so that's Big Ben, even more buying up stuff. The happiness is there, all the good stuff is in here. Still Adwa problem to be sorted out because like he liberated that city and I couldn't declare war, but Arizada Ababa I would definitely get and he wouldn't be able to take it back from me. Probably I would dispatch Furo quite nicely. Now there was some technical problems at the end of the game. We tried to reload like 2 times or so, communicating with each other. At the end, Ranma and Weatherman did decide to concede to me. Furo did want to fight a bit, but he was like saying if they want to concede, then he was going to concede as well, because he knew he does not have the upper hand anymore and I will be able to kill him eventually because I've got an advantage in army. Quite a big advantage in army already when it comes to planes, so in the long run he would not be able to withstand that. And I will get research labs soon, like this next turn I have research labs, so that's even infantry incoming right now. Basically I have a huge advantage at him. Now Carthage was still like pumping out frigates and frigates and frigates, but I would eventually deal with that problem as well. So there's Ranma left out with 3 cities and research labs a little bit faster than me, but in the end if she cannot stop me around right now, if they could only try to storm in here with battleships, and I would probably have battleships and planes as well, so I should be able to defend my capital. And if I lose the capital, if I've got if I've got tanks capital and Furo's capital, I'm still quite ahead. So it would basically happen what happened in my previous game that I don't want to spoil too much, because I have not uploaded that and I would really love to upload that game. What happened is basically I would had tons of troops that would be quite hard to stop, and I still have the tech. I'm not like behind in tech too much, but like the sheer amount of force that I already will have and the amount of oil and gold and all that stuff, they will be just flooding quite quickly before, in my opinion at least, before they would really be able to stop me fast basically. So I think the choice is not like, I think there was a correct choice that they did concede. Like we could have fighted for a little bit more to actually like decided clearly who's the victor in this game, but they did decide to concede to me, and I do agree with the decision. I'm quite happy with the decision. Maybe a little bit too fast on that concede part, but I think in the end I should be able to make it, because if I take away Furo, and that would most probably happen quite fast, because as I said I did have the upper hand and he did not have the gold income really to buy stuff, and I still would be able to buy into Great War fighters, and was slowly taking away Ethiopian cities. So I think I could kill him quite fastly. Of course not in like 5 turns or so, it will take some time, but overall he would not stand a chance, and later on I'm just free to do whatever I want, go on the other side or do whatever, because I'm not behind in science really that much. I'm behind by 4 turns on research labs or so to Ranma, but I've got more cities and I will have like 4 capitals, so in essence that's quite a bit. I'm still autocracy, I still can buy gold, I would have Big Ben. That would be quite hard combo to stop with that amount of cities. Anyways, quite a cool game, a lot of going on in here, a lot of really strange things going on when it comes to changing plans, like wow. Anyways, cool game. I like it very much. Thank you very much for the game to Furo, Weatherman, Ranma, Tank, and RNGesus. GG. It was really cool to play with you. Basically, that's it for this summary. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have not watched the game, I definitely invite you to watch the game. The link to the first position of the playlist is somewhere around in here. It was a quite cool and unexpected turn of events in this game, so I really like it, and I hope you will enjoy it too if you haven't watched the game yet. So that's it for this video, so thank you very much for watching and see you next time. Best wishes, Yoruus.